You're listening to the Health and Happiness Podcast with Travis Kemper and
Lauren Maxwell. Each episode, we share easy to implement strategies to improve your health, happiness, and overall quality of life.
Writing is medicine. It is an appropriate antidote to injury. It is an appropriate companion to any difficult change. Julia Cameron. How's it going, Travis?
Good. The sun just came out after 2 days of rain and snow. Duke and I got caught in a snow thunderstorm yesterday on a hike. We were trying to beat the rain. We failed. Well, we did beat the rain, kind of. It snowed on us with lightning strikes and big booms of thunder. And Duke actually was not that scared.
Oh my gosh.
Like he would hear the thunder and he would look in that direction, then just keep going. Speaking of Duke, I'm going to be petting him for this entire episode because he is disturbed and needs attention right now. And I don't really know why.
Oh, poor Duke.
Yeah. How's it going, Lauren?
It's going great. First of all, I can't believe you had snow yesterday or the last 2 days. That's wild, but I'm kind of hoping we get some kind of precipitation here soon.
Yeah, that would be good. It's good right now. Everything is soaking wet and the mountains are covered in snow again.
Wow.
It'll be gone within a couple days, I'm sure.
Well, sure.
But still, everything will be wet.
Yeah, that's nice. I officially survived the school year and have a pretty slow upcoming week this week, which will be nice before summer school starts. I've been enjoying doing lots of reading and spending some time with some of my coworkers outside of work for once to celebrate summer. It's been really nice.
Cool.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about today?
Writing, which is something I've been trying to do more of, and I know you've been trying to do more of it. Mm-hmm. I am in the process of making a blog and writing about whatever random topics I would like to. My first articles are on the squeeze being put on healthcare professionals. And then my second one is on polar bears, which are very related articles, in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, nice. So if you'd like to follow along, by the time this episode comes out, it should be up and running at traviskemper.com.
Exciting. Well, that's perfect. Speaking of online blogs, I don't know if I told you this, but I recently found my middle school online blog.
Awesome.
It's still available? Funniest. Oh yeah. It is the funniest thing I think I've ever read in my entire life. I cannot believe I wrote some stuff for people to read just about my life in general, how I was doing in school and all these dramatic things I was going through. It's hilarious.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry,
awesome.
Segue.
So if people want to find Lauren's middle school blog, they can go to
livejournal.com/deepindepth. Because I was obsessed with Johnny Depp when I made this live journal.
Deep in depth.
Yes.
Oh, is the trial what reminded you of this?
I didn't think about it that way, but I'm guessing subconsciously, probably.
Right.
But Depp was everything back then. Everything that evolved out of that time period had something to do with Johnny Depp. So probably with all of this trial stuff going on, I was like, oh, I wonder if my live journal still exists. It does. It's still there. Anyway. So back to
writing.
The topic of writing. Some of the benefits of journaling. Well, there's a lot of benefits of journaling. Journaling helps to reduce stress. So journaling can help you release unwanted thoughts from your mind, make sense of upsetting events, and improve your emotional regulation. All of these can positively impact your mental and physical health. One study of healthcare professionals working in Italy during the initial outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic found that expressive journaling reduced symptoms of depression and post-traumatic stress in participants compared to those who didn't write about their feelings.
Lauren, the psychological benefits don't surprise me in the slightest. Mm-hmm. However, I had no idea that there are so many physical health benefits.
I know, there's a ton.
It's crazy. So, writing about traumatic, stressful, or emotional events has been found to result in improvements in both physical and psychological health. A 2018 study found that writing about your deepest thoughts and feelings may contribute to fewer stress-related doctor visits, lower blood pressure, improved mood, and overall greater well-being. In addition, another study of 70 adults with medical conditions and anxiety found that writing about positive experiences like gratitude for 12 weeks was linked to reduced distress and increased well-being. These people, if you're listening to the news about COVID and stuff, they talk about the comorbidities. These people had at least 2 comorbidities, and just by writing about positive experiences like gratitude, they reduced their distress and increased their well-being. That's pretty cool.
Huge.
A meta-analysis, which is a summary of several studies, of 13 studies using expressive writing with healthy participants, found a significant overall benefit and specific benefits in objective or self-reported physical health, psychological well-being, physiological functioning, and general functioning outcomes. The physical health benefits included improved immune system functioning. Again, if you're worried about COVID or whatever the new thing is, monkeypox, maybe you should start writing and exercising to improve your immune system functioning. Improved lung function, also going to benefit you if you get a viral disease that attacks your lungs. Improved liver function, fewer days in hospital. Improved mood and affect, feeling of greater psychological well-being, reduced depression, reduced depressive symptoms before examinations in students, fewer post-traumatic intrusion and avoidance symptoms. Social and behavioral outcomes include reduced absenteeism from work, quicker reemployment after job loss, improved working memory, improved sporting performance, higher students' grade point average, and improved social and linguistic behavior. Lauren, why is this not taught in school?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, this is some stuff that I'm like, how in the heck does this, like, how does writing improve stuff like this? But, like, it improves so much. I guess I could kind of make sense of it.
Well, kind of. Well, some of it doesn't seem intuitive to me at all. But what is not intuitive at all is why I had to learn this on my own for this podcast instead of being taught this at some point in my 20 years of formal education.
Mm-hmm. I know, because I mean, like, I remember being, like, in some of my younger classes, I don't know if it was elementary school or middle school or what, but we were, like, forced to keep a journal, but I wasn't told like why it was important to keep a journal. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I loved the assignments. I always love writing. Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Oh, it's Duke growling.
Oh. I always loved writing, but I didn't know, even through those like assignments, nobody ever told me like the benefits that it would lead to if I actually did the journaling. I always thought journaling for class was dumb. You don't journal so teachers can read it. Like, I journal so that I can process things. I'm not going to process things if teachers are going to read it. Anyway, more physical health benefits continue here. New research suggests expressive writing may also offer physical benefits to people battling terminal or life-threatening diseases. Studies by those in the forefront of this research suggest that writing about emotions and stress can boost immune functioning in patients with illnesses such as HIV/AIDS, asthma, and arthritis. Researchers are only beginning to get at how and why writing may benefit the immune system and why some people appear to benefit more than others. There is emerging agreement, however, that the key to writing's effectiveness is in the way people use it to interpret their experiences, right down to the words they choose. Venting emotions alone, whether through writing or talking, is not enough to relieve stress and thereby improve health. To tap into writing's healing power, people must use it to better understand and learn from their emotions. So in one study, 107 asthma and rheumatoid arthritis patients wrote for 20 minutes in each of 3 consecutive days. 71 of them about the most stressful event of their lives, and the rest about the emotionally neutral subject of their daily plans. 4 months after the writing exercise, 70 patients in the stressful writing group showed improvement on an objective clinical evaluations compared with 37 of the control patients. In addition, those who wrote about stress improved more and deteriorated less than controls for both diseases. So writing helped patients get better and also kept them from getting worse. Not everyone agrees, though, that the mere act of writing is necessarily beneficial. In fact, research has found that initial writing about trauma can trigger distress and physical and emotional arousal. And not all people will work through that initial distress therapeutically or through continued writing. But there is evidence that the nature of a person's writing is key to its health effects. An intensive journaling study conducted recently suggests that people who relive upsetting events without focusing on meaning report poorer health than those who derive meaning from the writing. They even fare worse than people who write about neutral events. Also, those who focus on meaning develop greater awareness of positive aspects of a stressful event. So it's important to not only just write the event, but like to derive meaning from the emotions and the things that you're writing about. You need focused thought as well as emotions. You need to find meaning in a traumatic memory as well as to feel the related emotions to reap the positive benefits from the writing exercise. They've also found that some personality types likely respond better to writing than others. Tentative evidence suggests that more reserved people benefit most, which I think makes sense. The more like reserved that you are, the less likely you're going to like be able to talk to other people and kind of process things that way. So like writing is a very personal thing that you can do as a reserved person.
Lauren, I would like to commend you on your focus during this episode because I'm over here wrestling with my dog. If you watch the video, my computer turned sideways. He got caught up in the microphone cable, pulled my computer sideways, just ripped my phone off the table. He is biting my arm. And Lauren just kept trucking along. I was impressed.
Oh, it's really hard not to laugh. I'm glad you allowed me a moment to laugh about it.
Duke is not a happy camper right now, and apparently petting him only worked for 15 minutes.
Oh, Duke.
Buddy. All right, so as Lauren alluded to, we have really very little idea about why writing works to help you improve your physical and mental health. As I mentioned earlier, to me, the psychological health benefits are not that surprising.
For sure.
And some of that because your brain is intertwined with everything you do, and everything that improves your psychological will improve your physical health, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Doesn't surprise me that much, but the amount that they improve surprises me. So some researchers have put out hypotheses. There's very little evidence for any of these. Some researchers have put out hypotheses of emotional catharsis while you're writing, which they have very little evidence for. Others have said confronting previously inhibited emotions, which may reduce the physiological stress resulting from the inhibition, but it's unlikely to be the only explanation. That one kind of makes some sense. You're bringing up things that you've been hiding from all your life. Cognitive processing. It is likely that the development of a coherent narrative helps to reorganize and structure traumatic memories, resulting in more adaptive internal schemas. This one totally makes sense to me. I literally write to organize my thoughts better.
Yeah.
So this totally makes sense. Repeated exposure. So again, kind of going back to those inhibited emotions or traumatic events. So this may involve the extinction of negative emotional responses to traumatic memories.
Yeah, repeated exposure is very much a common thing in psychology. And honestly, I think it could be a combination of all four of these. Yeah.
I'm quite sure it's a combination.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's any one of these things
Right.
only. I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of
Just
everything.
like just like meditation and exercise, they do so many different things to your body.
Right.
Writing seems to as also do several different things that help your physical and mental state.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now that we're back after Duke has hopefully been satisfied for at least a couple minutes with a peanut butter bone, Lauren, would you like to continue?
Sure. So, moving on from the physical health benefits, journaling also encourages space from negative thoughts. When a negative or worried thought arises, it's easy to get caught up in the stories that can spiral out of them. I find this really easy to do. Whenever I have a worry that just like pops up, all of a sudden that worry spirals into a story in my head about the absolute worst case scenario, which of course then makes me worry more. Hello, anxiety. But jotting down your thoughts, however, creates space and distance to consider them in a more objective way. This is
Do
a very
you do you write things down and then you're like, how could I possibly have gone to that conclusion? Because it's the dumbest, most unlikely conclusion ever.
Yeah, this is why nobody gets to read my journal. Like, nobody. It is embarrassing for me to reread because I'm like, oh my, this is just how my brain works. And thankfully, writing helps me get to a clearer mindset. But yeah, nobody can read my journal because it is super embarrassing. This distance is formally called cognitive diffusion, a helpful concept from acceptance and commitment therapy. The idea that you are not your thoughts, emotions, or physical symptoms. Instead, you are the context in which they occur. So this is a lot of what I do. Sometimes I just journal about like exactly how I'm feeling if I like have a particular ridiculous worst case scenario story going on in my head. But I also do this when like am going through a particularly tough time, and I'll start to write stories about like what I'm going through, but also like the people around me, so that I can take on different perspectives. So I think it's incredibly helpful. I'll like literally write a short story about it. That's way less embarrassing to me. Because it's not me, it's just this character that's going through it. So, and it allows me the space to detach from myself and explore the other perspectives around me. Like maybe why something or somebody would do something that felt hurtful. And it allows me to maybe like separate that gut reaction of like, oh, that was intentional, like they said that to intentionally hurt me, and then backing up and like writing a story about it and being like, oh no, clearly there is something going on. And like, I'm making it up what's going on in their lives, but it allows me to have the space to be like, okay, that wasn't intentional, I didn't need to like feel that way, whatever.
Interesting. When it's something in your life that's going on, like, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would be ridiculous. Like, oh, we're not going to find a house, and then we're going to get kicked out of this house that we live in now, and then we're going to be living in a cardboard box on the street, and then I'm going to become a prostitute on the corner. Like, do you go that far? And
Yeah,
then
that's called worst case scenario.
okay, but then do you do like I feel like something that would help me if I would go down that route, which I definitely have before, but it's been a while, would be like, if I was going to write about it, be writing that down and then be like, well, that's stupid, I'm not going to become a prostitute. And then be like, what's the way more likely thing that's going to happen?
Yeah.
And what is truly the worst case scenario?
Right.
Could I move in with a friend for a couple of weeks while I fix this place, or while I find a new place or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a way that I can problem solve that's not wrapped up in anxiety and worst case scenario, and like actually reasonable. And it's super helpful. Like, it's the way that I process a lot of things when I'm spiraling into somewhere I don't want to go. But also if I'm like really hurt by something, like if I had an interaction where I was like really hurt, sometimes like in life, you don't have the opportunity to like apologize or get an apology from somebody that like hurt you really bad or that you hurt really bad, because both are true. And I'll use writing as a way to have conversations that I'll know I'll never be able to have for whatever reason and get closure and clarity. Writing is just like probably one of the most powerful things that I've learned how to do.
It sounds like that would work very well. And Lauren, I apologize for whatever I did that upset you at whatever time in our lives.
I wasn't talking about you.
I was just covering my bases.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm sorry for whatever I've done to hurt you.
I don't get hurt very often. Anyway, so journaling provides a way to process emotions, hence what Lauren was just talking about. Journaling gives you the opportunity to process your emotions in a safe, contained space. Research shows that naming the specific emotions you're experiencing and then accepting them reduces their strength. That way, difficult emotions can become less overwhelming and easier to manage. This sounds exactly like what you said you do. Research has also shown that expressive writing of positive emotions has been shown to improve feelings of anxiety. One study discovered that long-term, 30 days or more, expressive writing of positive emotion helped to reduce test anxiety for senior high school students. In another study, researchers studied the effects of positive affect journaling, which involves reflecting on the good in your life. This is similar to the gratitude exercise we talked about. Over the course of 12 weeks, in a group of medical patients experiencing significant anxiety. Compared with the volunteers who were just receiving standard medical care, the participants who journaled reported less anxiety and mental distress and better social integration and pain control. This, like I said, this is similar to the things that we went over in the gratitude episode. If you want to refer back to that one, we'll link it in the comments. What's crazy to me, Lauren, reading that is that it's such an easy thing to do. Hospitals waste thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of paper a day. So why not give people paper and like write on their little message board, hey, writing down what you're feeling has been shown over and over and over again in research to help you get out of this hospital sooner and feel better and be in less pain. Why isn't this used?
I don't know. I wish it was.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's something, like you said, so simple.
So simple, so cheap, so effective. Like that's what you're really looking for. You're looking for cheap, simple, and effective when you're talking about healthcare or really anything in life.
Yeah.
Because if it's cheap and effective and simple, everybody can benefit from it and everybody can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So some more psychological benefits of writing. So writing has an effect on happiness. Expressive writing has been linked to improved mood, well-being, and reduced stress levels for those who do it regularly. Research has shown that writing about achieving future goals and dreams can make people happier and healthier. Additionally, when people doing stressful fundraising jobs kept a journal for a few days about how their work made a difference, they increased their hourly effort by 29% over the next 2 weeks. Writing.
That's a lot.
I know.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. 29%.
Gosh, think about what you can get done if you improve your productivity by 29%.
Right. And that was just keeping a journal for a few days.
Right. That's another, they're looking at the positive again. Crazy. Maybe I need to start writing about how my work makes a difference.
Yeah.
That seems pretty worthwhile.
Yeah. Writing and communicating clearly. In both emotional intelligence and in hard sciences like mathematics, writing has been shown to help people communicate highly complex ideas more effectively. This makes sense, I think, totally, as writing allows a lot of practice with fleshing out thoughts in your mind and finding accurate ways to describe feelings and experiences.
Yeah, and sometimes when you write things down and then you read them, you're like, that was a stupid way to phrase this. We do this every week on this podcast. We write down notes of like what we're writing or what we're going to talk about. And then I read something and I'm like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. I think that's what I tried to say. And I'm going to change that.
Yeah, we go through like multiple rounds of like editing what we're saying, editing what we're writing.
Right.
Writing and handling hard times. Well, I feel like we've talked about this a lot, but in one study that followed recently fired engineers, the researchers found that those engineers who consistently engaged with expressive writing were able to find another job faster. Writing in gratitude. As authors of one study noted, participants who reflected on the good things in their life once a week, by writing them down, were more positive and motivated about their current situations and their futures.
I feel like that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Something easy, something simple, like you don't
once
have to do
a week,
it every
once
day,
a day.
once a week. Yeah.
It takes 30 seconds to write down the good things that happened today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah. Writing and your quote unquote mental tabs. Have you ever had too many internet tabs open at once?
Yeah, today I actually had to close all of the tabs to get the internet to do anything for this podcast.
I have like 20 tabs open right now. So yeah, that's me. I'm guilty. But also your brain can have these same kind of like mental tabs. So when your brain has too many mental tabs open at once, it's often the result of trying to mentally juggle too many thoughts at the same time. Writing will give you writing gives form to your ideas and gets them out of your head, freeing up space to focus on other things. So if you have too many mental tabs open, write some of them down, get them out of the way so that you can actually focus on like one thing at a time.
Journaling can help you find your next step, and journaling deepens self-discovery. Writing, especially the writing of stories, is ultimately a relationship with yourself. Your stories, your characters, and the scenarios and themes you write about are often revelations of the hidden parts of you, your shadow self, or the aspects of your personality you have not yet made conscious. Hidden emotions, desires, and even memories can surface in our writing. They're for us to recognize if we only look. Some of the discoveries will be glorious and magical, others will be difficult and painful, but all are instructive. In so many ways, writing is the study of the soul. Stories allow us to study the collective soul of humanity, but our stories particularly allow us to study our own souls, to suss out their treasures, relive their wounds, celebrate their uniqueness, and share their common features.
I love that.
Lauren, how does one start writing?
Well, like Travis and I were saying earlier, I think it's a good idea to start small. So once a day, once a week, whatever you can do, it doesn't take very long. But start with a pen and paper, or I guess, I prefer pen and paper, so that speaks to me. But start with whatever you have. Like if you have a blank document on your computer, start there. Make a note on your phone, like wherever you can write. Know that you can experiment with whatever type of journaling you want to do. Don't pay attention to spelling and grammar. There's no grading involved with journaling. This is why I hated when they made us do journals in class. There should never be grading involved with journaling. You're writing for yourself, not for anybody else.
I could see how that would be problematic for you, especially.
Yes.
Yeah, because you couldn't turn in something unless it was perfect. So you had to go back and edit every entry.
Yeah. And then if you're editing things, it's not actually useful. Like for me, I don't find it useful to edit my thoughts.
Right.
If I had to edit them, then I'm not actually expressing them.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Be consistent. It might feel like a chore at first, but even a few minutes of journaling each day can improve your mental health. Write what feels right. You don't have to make the same style of entry each time. Go with whatever appeals to you that day. Make a ritual of it. Turn journaling into something you look forward to. Light a candle, put on relaxing music, or sip a beverage while you write. Use journaling prompts to get you started. Sometimes starting with a blank page can be intimidating. Use guided journal prompts to get your thoughts flowing. I do a lot of prompts or free writing, depending on whether I'm feeling inspired or not that day to write.
So a challenge for this week would just be write in any way.
Right. Anything.
Just write. And if you're struggling with what to write, just write down something good that happened to you today that you're grateful for, and start from there and see how you feel. Lauren, great job today.
Great job, Travis. This was fun.
This was fun. We will see you next time. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and are getting benefits from our content.
If your life is improving in part due to the information in this podcast, we would greatly appreciate you sharing the episode with your family and friends on social media and leaving us a review so we can continue to reach more people and improve the health and happiness of the community at large.
Thanks again, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast.